Thank you, Nina Enrique. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles for NET25 World News. On tonight's headlines. And breaking news just coming into our newsroom. Overnight, a tragic incident unfolded on Bourbon Street in New Orleans' iconic French Quarter. Police and emergency respondents remain on site with caution tape cordoning off parts of the area. The Iglesia ni Cristo's Care for Humanity project extends its global reach.
The Lingap sa Mamamayan Aid for Humanity project reaches Tenali, India, providing essential support to communities in need as global impact continues through the Iglesia ni Cristo's humanitarian project worldwide.
And the world kicked off 2025 with amazing New Year celebrations.
3, 2, 1, here we go!
And the news starts now. Air travel is a true marvel of human ingenuity, offering unmatched safety and speed. And yet when tragedy strikes, like the recent Jeju Air Crash in South Korea, it can shake even the most seasoned travelers. For decades, Boeing jets, especially the 737, have been a staple in global aviation. But after rare catastrophic failures, many are left wondering, is the Boeing 737 still the safest choice in the skies? We all know air travel promises convenience, speed, and safety. But when the unthinkable happens, like the Jeju Air Crash on a quiet Sunday, it forces us to stop and think. Flight 7C2216 was descending into South Korea's Muwon International Airport when disaster struck, ending in flames. Of the 181 passengers, only 2 survived. A bird strike, a landing gear malfunction, and a medical emergency led to a fiery belly landing, raising serious questions about the safety of Boeing jets. Boeing's culture has been under scrutiny ever since the 2018 and 2019 crashes, linked to a faulty stabilization system. Despite updates like software fixes and better pilot training, the 737 MAX still hasn't flown without incident. Some critics argue that Boeing's corporate culture of concealment dating back years is to blame. It seems to have come from the top within, with the CEO and boardroom prioritizing profits over safety. On January 5, 2024, another issue occurred when part of the fuselage of Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 blew out shortly after takeoff. A door plug fell off, causing rapid cabin pressure loss and forcing pilots to make an emergency landing. Thankfully, no one was seriously injured, but it added to concerns surrounding Boeing aircraft.
Alaska, very different. That was a manufacturing miss.
Retaliation against whistleblowers, non-conforming parts, quality inspections skipped, and issues concealed from the FAA, evidence hidden, all have continued. In fact, there is near overwhelming evidence, in my view as a former prosecutor, that prosecution should be pursued.
And since then, the FAA has inspected 40 grounded Boeing planes. Yet airlines like the United and Alaska Airlines continue to operate with the faulty 737 MAX. Other airlines such as Copa, Aero Mexico, and Turkish Airlines also have Boeing jets in their fleets. Statistically, air travel remains the safest form of transportation, far safer than car travel. But many passengers still wonder, is where you sit on a plane a matter of life and death? Data suggests it could be. Studies show the rear of the plane often sees higher survival rates as the nose of the plane absorbs the impact in crashes. The middle seats in the back of the plane have the lowest fatality rates, while seats closer to the front tend to have higher mortality rates. However, being near an emergency exit can be just as important. Your chances of survival are better the quicker you can get out, especially in cases of fires or water landings. Despite its reputation for safety, recent tragedies have shaken the public's trust in Boeing. Passengers remain skeptical, with some travelers even swearing off Boeing planes altogether.
We're here to go on a family trip to Jeju Island. And I am very worried because of yesterday's accident, Jeju airplane crash. So I checked with the airline Asiana Airlines, which you will take to confirm the type of the aircraft for my flight. And since it is different from Jeju Air's aircraft Boeing 737-800, the aircraft which crashed, we feel less uneasy about traveling.
South Korea plane crash black box has now been sent to the U.S. for analysis.
The team has determined it was not possible to extract its contents from the damaged flight data recorder, FDR, in South Korea, so it has agreed to send it to the United States in cooperation with the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB.
And breaking news just coming into our newsroom. Overnight, a tragic incident unfolded on Bourbon Street in New Orleans' iconic French Quarter. Police and emergency respondents remain on site with caution tape cordoning off parts of the area. Authorities confirmed that a vehicle plowed into a group of people, resulting in multiple fatalities. Early reports indicate at least 10 people were killed and 30 others injured. Several victims have been transported to 5 local hospitals. Witness accounts paint a horrifying picture. One man described seeing bodies thrown into the air as the vehicle sped into the crowd, and others reported hearing gunfire after the crash, with police reportedly returning fire at the suspect. The New Orleans Police Department is calling this a mass casualty incident.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not.
So we will give you just the basics this morning, all right? We had this event started at about 3:15. It did involve a man driving a pickup truck down Bourbon Street at a very fast pace, and it was very intentional behavior. This man was trying to run over as many people as he possibly could. It was not a DUI situation. This is a more complex and more serious based on the information we have right now. It is a very tragic situation for me to tell you that we know we have 10 people that this man killed on Bourbon Street. What I also can tell you is that this man, this perpetrator, he fired on our officers from his vehicle when he crashed his vehicle. 2 of our officers have been shot. They are stable.
I'm asking the public to stay clear of 8 blocks around Bourbon Street. Stay clear from Bourbon Street, 8 blocks around. Very active, and again, a unified command is in place right now.
This tragedy comes as the city prepared for the All-State Bowl at the Caesars Superdome, expected to draw thousands of visitors. And we're continuing to monitor the situation and bring you updates as they become available. Russia has sharply criticized a potential peace plan for Ukraine reportedly being developed by Donald Trump's team. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov specifically took issue with provisions regarding NATO membership. Take a look. Judging from numerous leaks and Donald Trump's interview with Time magazine, on December 12, their idea is to suspend hostilities along the line of contact and transfer responsibility for confrontation with Russia to the Europeans. We are not happy, of course, with the proposals made by members of the Trump team to postpone Ukraine's admission to NATO for 20 years and to station British and European peacekeeping forces in Ukraine. The criticism follows Trump's recent interview with Time magazine. While not detailing his official peace plan, Trump strongly criticized Ukraine's use of American missiles in Russian territory, saying he vehemently disagrees with sending missiles hundreds of miles into Russia, adding that it would only escalate the war and make it worse. Reports suggest Trump's team is exploring options, including stationing European troops in Ukraine while delaying its NATO membership. His pick for Ukraine envoy, Keith Kellogg, has suggested cutting off aid to Kiev and threatening Moscow with surging weapons to reach a peace deal. However, Russia remains firm on its position.
Нас не может устроить
We cannot be satisfied with empty talk. So far, all we hear is talk about the need to come up with some kind of truce. And it is not particularly hidden that this truce is needed in order to gain time to continue pumping Ukraine with weapons, so that they can get themselves in order, carry out additional mobilization, and so on. A truce is a road to nowhere. We need final legal agreements that will fix all the conditions for ensuring the security of the Russian Federation and, of course, the legitimate security interests of our neighbors, but in a context that will secure the impossibility of violating these agreements in an internationally legal manner.
If any of the Western leaders want to resume contacts, I have always said, and I want to say it again, we have nothing against it. As you wish, let us resume contacts and hold discussions.
While recent reports suggest Vladimir Putin is open to discussing a Ukraine ceasefire with Donald Trump, the Russian leader remains unwavering. No territorial concessions, and Ukraine must drop its NATO ambitions.
I also have a very good relationship, as you know, with President Putin, and I think if we win, I think we're going to get it resolved very quickly.
The question now is whether Trump's promised day one solution can overcome these significant hurdles. Ukraine entered 2025 with its landmark Independence Square known as Maidan, remaining empty due to ongoing wartime curfews. The historic square, traditionally a hub of New Year celebrations, has been under restrictions since Russia's full-scale invasion began in February 2022. In his New Year's address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke of the steadfast UN-Ukraine alliance with the Motherland Monument illuminated in Ukraine's national colors as backdrop.
I have no doubt that the new American president wants and will be able to bring peace and end Russian President Vladimir Putin's aggression. He understands that the former is impossible without the latter, because this is not a street brawl where the two sides need to be pacified. This is a full-scale aggression by a deranged state against a civilized one, and I believe that, together with the United States, we are capable of the strength to force Russia into a just peace.
Meanwhile, in Moscow, Russian President Vladimir Putin delivered his New Year's address from the Kremlin, offering broad statements about Russia's future without specific mentions of Ukraine or economic plans.
Yes, we still have a lot to do, but we can be rightly proud of what has already been done. This is our common heritage, a solid foundation for further development. Our country, independent, free and strong, has been able to respond to the most difficult challenges. And now, on the threshold of the new year, we are thinking about the future. We are sure that everything will be fine. We will go only forward. We know for sure that the absolute value for us is and will be the fate of Russia and the well-being of its citizens.
Now, Ukraine is set to become one of the first countries to introduce direct-to-cell satellite connectivity thanks to a new partnership between Kyivstar and Elon Musk's Starlink. Take a look.
A phone signal beamed directly from space to smartphones is expected to arrive in Ukraine. The country's leading mobile operator, Kyivstar, has signed an agreement with Elon Musk's Starlink to introduce direct-to-cell satellite connectivity. The news was announced by Kyivstar's parent company VEON on Monday. Direct-to-cell services are connected to satellites equipped with modems that function like a cell phone tower. The service with messaging functionality should be operational in the fourth quarter of 2025, the telecoms group said. It will reportedly expand voice and data services at a later date. Financial details of the agreement have not been disclosed. SpaceX-owned Starlink already provides critical internet to war-torn Ukraine and its military. The satellite broadband firm has struck deals with local providers for direct-to-cell services in the US and 7 other countries, including Japan and New Zealand. Ukraine will be one of the first countries in the world with direct-to-cell connectivity, and the first conflict zone where Starlink will roll out this technology, its website says. Russia has ramped up its efforts to jam signals between Starlink satellites and ground terminals in Ukraine for 2 years. The agreement comes as Musk, Starlink's owner, grows more engaged with the incoming Trump administration in the US and its Ukraine strategy.
And tonight, we examine how artificial intelligence is reshaping warfare in the Middle East, following Hamas's October 7th attack that claimed more than 1,400 lives. Israel's military response has highlighted its growing reliance on AI technology. Over the past decade, Israel has transformed its intelligence operations into what's now called an AI factory. At its core is a system called Habsora, Hebrew for the gospel, which processes vast amounts of data to identify potential targets. The Israeli Defense Forces defended this technology shift, stating, "The more ability you have to compile pieces of information effectively, the more accurate the process is. If anything, these tools have minimized collateral damage and raised the accuracy of the human-led process." But some former Israeli military personnel are raising red flags. In fact, one critic posed this question: "It took the Intelligence Directorate years to achieve a bank of those kinds of targets. But what happens if you trained AI to imitate the work of the targeting officer?" Blaise Mistel, Vice President for Policy at the Jewish Institute for National Security of America, observed Israel's confidence in their surveillance capabilities, saying, "They really did believe with all the sensors they had all around and above Gaza, I won't say total informational awareness, but they had a very good picture of what was happening inside." The conflict took a dramatic turn in November when the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for alleged war crimes in Gaza. Here's Prime Minister Netanyahu's response.
The outrageous decision by the ICC prosecutor, Karim Khan, to seek arrest warrants against the democratically elected leaders of Israel is a moral outrage of historic proportions.
As this technology continues to shape modern warfare, questions remain about the role of artificial intelligence in military operations and whether machines should ever make life or death decisions traditionally left to human judgment. As much of the world eagerly anticipates the arrival of 2025, many are reflecting on the challenges and opportunities ahead. But in China, things are a bit different. Every New Year's Eve, President Xi Jinping gives his annual address outlining what his people can expect in the year ahead. And this year, much of his speech was a repeat of previous themes, including his firm stance on Taiwan. However, this time he struck a softer tone, focusing on unity rather than threats. Xi spoke about the family bond between the Chinese people across the Taiwan Strait and emphasized that no one could stop China's reunification.
The people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait are one family. No one can sever our family bonds, and no one can stop the historical trend of national reunification.
But Xi didn't dwell on Taiwan for too long. His main focus was the economy. He proudly highlighted China's electric vehicle industry, claiming that the country had produced a record 10 million EVs this year. However, he glossed over the challenges, such as the EU's tariffs on Chinese EVs. And looking ahead, there's the looming threat of U.S. tariffs under a potential second Donald Trump presidency, which Xi acknowledged in his speech.
The current economic operation face some new circumstances, including uncertainties in the external environment and pressure from the transition between old and new growth drivers. But we can prevail with our hard work. As always, we grow in the wind and rain, and we get stronger through hard times. We must be confident.
But behind those encouraging words, the reality is that China faces some tough challenges. With the U.S. poised to impose heavy tariffs on Chinese goods, Xi will need to pivot and find new markets for exports, particularly in the global south. Domestic demand remains sluggish and the property sector is still struggling despite the recent economic stimulus. Xi knows that these issues won't be easily solved, and his speech served as a way to prepare the Chinese people for a bumpy year ahead. Meanwhile, Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te spoke today, expressing his openness to equal, respectful, and healthy exchanges with China. However, he questioned whether Beijing truly shared that goodwill, citing their restrictions on things as simple as tourism.
But I still want to stress this. Taiwan hopes to have healthy and orderly exchanges with China under the principles of reciprocity and dignity.
During a New Year's press conference, Lai pointed out that China has long been blocking normal interactions by limiting Chinese tourists and students from coming to Taiwan, while Taiwanese citizens don't face similar travel restrictions in China. Lai emphasized that in the face of growing threats from authoritarian regimes,
being friends with the world through democracy is a way to ensure stability and peace. The safer Taiwan is, the safer the world will be. The stronger Taiwan is, the more solid the world's democratic defense line will be. Democracies should unite to jointly resolve the Russia-Ukraine war and conflicts between Israel and Gaza, and safeguard the security of Taiwan Strait and Indo-Pacific.
Famous for their high-energy choreography, the Kyoto Tachibana High School Green Band takes part in a marching band showcase ahead of their appearance at the annual Rose Parade. In Pasadena City College in California, Eva and Alan have the story.
At every Rose Parade, high school marching bands are always a main attraction.
And for one high-stepping, high-energy group, a pre-New Year's Day show for fans is all part and parcel of their overseas experience.
私は多分練習では結構厳しくて、ただ
I'm very strict coach, so it's not easy. But when the kids are enjoyed and happy and doing the practice, that makes me happy too. So whatever they're happy, I'm happy. But I want it to be mainly as I wanted to be as a people to share, for enjoy the music and give happiness. That's my motto. It's a Japanese performance, and also as an audience, it's a totally different. They were very quiet, but here, as a people, so cheer and energetic and happy, showing the performers are very happy. So I think she and also student was learn how to perform and stuff. So that was a really helpful to come over for the learn and also performing to show their performance.
私が中学生の時に、コロナウイルス
When I was a junior high, during the pandemic, and I couldn't do anything for the performing, and her mom was showed the Tachibana's performance, and she was kind of introduced to her for the join the Kyoto Tachibana. That was a starting. First time when I heard about the 5.5 miles, that was so scared, and I don't know I can make it or not. But I think it's a really good experience, and I think this is the first time and last time is that we can do, and I think we're going to try to do my best and our best to finish the goals for the 5.5 miles.
Keep in mind that during the Rose Parade, the Kyoto Tachibana High School Green Band will be performing a cardio-challenging routine several times for 5.5 miles. That's impressive and quite a calorie burner.
So if your New Year's resolution is to get healthier and stronger, then maybe joining a marching band is the way to go. Reporting from Pasadena City College in Pasadena, California, Eva and Alan for NET25 World News.
And the news continues here on NET25. We'll be right back. And the world kicked off 2025 with amazing New Year celebrations. Sydney stole the show with breathtaking fireworks lighting up the Harbour Bridge, while London dazzled with a stunning display along the Thames. Each city had its own unique way of ringing in the new year. Take a look. The Iglesia Ni Cristo's Care for Humanity project extends its global reach, providing vital aid to communities in India as members unite to bring hope and relief worldwide. Take a look.
The Lingap sa Mamamayan Aid for Humanity project reaches Tenali, India, providing essential support to communities in need as global impact continues through the Iglesia Ni Cristo's humanitarian project worldwide.
The Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, or INC, recently concluded another successful round of its Aid for Humanity project, reaching Tenali, India, with the distribution of food packs. This global initiative, led by the Iglesia Ni Cristo, aims to uplift underserved populations around the world through coordinated relief efforts that address both immediate needs and long-term community wellness. The project provided food packages to hundreds of individuals. INC members joined together in distributing the goods, focusing on challenged families and individuals to ensure the resources reached those who needed them most. The Aid for Humanity project reflects the Church's commitment to supporting global communities to address poverty challenges. This initiative of the Church has reached countless communities across Asia, the Middle East, North America, and Africa, addressing both natural disaster relief and economic hardships.
కార్యక్రమాలు జరుగుతున్నందుకు చాలా మాకు సంతోషంగా ఉంది. ఈ ఎడ్వాల మీనాల గారు చాలా థ్యాంక్స్. ఇలాంటి కార్యక్రమాలు ఇంకా ఎన్నో జరగాలని మేము ఆశిస్తున్నాం. ఈ సంఘంలో కూడా ఇంకా అనేక మంది నడవాలని మేము చాలా కోరుకుంటున్నాం.
ఇలాంటి కార్యక్రమాలు నిర్వహిస్తున్న బ్రదర్ ఎడ్వర్డ్ వి మెనాలా గారికి మా కృతజ్ఞతలు.
I'm feeling so happy to be a part of this wonderful activity. I'm feeling so blessed to be an active member inside the Iglesia Ni Cristo. Especially, we would like to say thank you to our church administration and most especially to our beloved brother Eduardo V. Menalo.
Kami po ay nagpapasalamat sa aming pong tagapamahalang pangkalatan, ang kapatid na Eduardo V. Menalo, sa paglulunsad ng Care for Humanity para po sa mga kapatid po natin at kababayan dito po sa bansang India.
Maraming salamat po kay Eduardo V. Manalo.
Through this project, the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ has shown its dedication to promote a culture of compassion and service, emphasizing unity and support across borders and communities. As INC continues its Aid for Humanity project globally, members look forward to further initiatives that bring hope and support to people in need around the world. From Bahrain,
Victor Sanchez for NET25 World News.
And with that, we end tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on NET25, I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you all for joining us. Happy New Year. Good night.